What's up, everybody? I am going to talk a bit today about how Facebook and kind of getting off Facebook for a while has really improved my life. Uh, I would say that it wasn't this sort of huge active decision that I made that I wasn't going to use Facebook. Like a lot of people have these I'm just getting rid of my Facebook. I'm not going to use it again, and they just, completely ban themselves from it. As a result of just a lot of just buildup of frustration with social media and being in a shitty place in your life. But for me, it came from just it was kind of like a two-sided thing. One was I was just losing interest in social media, as I've been on this path to of self-improvement or whatever you want to call it. And the other, you know, so let me actually get the first part first, that I've kind of just gradually grown disinterested from it. That, I think says quite a few things about where I feel like I'm at in my life right now. That my days now, my life now, my real life has become a lot more interesting to me, than a screen, and my eyes being against a screen and status updates and contrived um, displays of events and things. So yeah, that's a huge part, that I've spent so much time as of late, really sort of just focusing in on myself and my life and taking care of myself, bettering myself in many ways. And I found that I've just had less and less and less time for Facebook, to the point where those moments where I would log on Facebook, or those one-off days where I would be on Facebook more than I would normally be on Facebook, I found myself getting very irritated, um, feeling less happy, um, and productive throughout my day, and it just resulted in this frustration feeling. And at first I didn't realize that it was social media that was doing this to me, but I kind of quickly figured it out. I also just realized that, it's there's just so many things to say. I'm not hating on social media. I use social media a lot, especially as a creative. I use certain platforms a lot for creative sharing. I love social media as a tool for creative sharing. Um, I absolutely love it, and I would not have some of the things that I have in my life now if it weren't for social media. But where it gets really risky and troublesome is with how people often normalize social media use in a way that's so addictive, and they don't even realize it. Getting to the point where the first thing you do when you wake up is checking Facebook, which that was me for years. um, Imagine the million other things that your mind, your body, your soul needs besides a screen that has a majority of people that you're not really close friends with, it's acquaintances, telling you random things or posting pictures about random things that either, if you like FOMO or this comparison thing, or just make you angry if it's a political post or it's an opinion post, or get you worked up or feeling like you're not good enough, or even if it is getting you riled up in a positive way, it is getting you riled up. Watching these gimmicky viral videos that train your mind to be entertained by even more and more gimmicky or more and more sensationalist things. Um, it's not definitely not a good thing for the first thing in the morning, and I'm like now seeing that. um, so one thing, talking about concretes, I have deleted the Facebook app off my phone for a couple months now. I haven't had it on my phone, and that's kind of where it gets the most deadly, when you have it on the device that you have on you at all times. Um, and for some people, even just having Facebook on their desktop is also harmful because they have jobs that require them to be on their desktop for the majority of the day. So that's also just equally as harmful. But thankfully for me, my work, work as an interpreter, I am not on my, I'm not required to use not required, like I am not in front of a screen. I'm like in person on-site assignments. And oftentimes, like, there are days where I don't get to log in on to my desktop or laptop until the very end of the day, at which point, like, I don't even go, like, Facebook isn't the first thing I check. I want to check, like, the music I want to listen to. I want to check my email. I want to check so many other things. Like, a big thing I use the internet for is, like, reading up on different like, health and lifestyle things I'm curious about. So, I'll be, like, eagerly waiting, like, to get home so I don't have to use, like, my data on my phone if I'm out without wireless service somewhere. To be like, oh, I can't wait to Google the health benefits of so and so new product or fruit or vegetable or herb or spice that I learned about and how I can incorporate it into my diet. I know it sounds maybe kind of weird, but that, and I'm like a big music buff. Like, I love music. I love creative stuff, and I like love, 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 love searching different music, listening to different music, and all that. But I've come to the point now, which I'm shocked by, where I can go days without, like, logging onto Facebook or even having the urge. For example, yesterday or the day before yesterday, I hadn't logged onto Facebook for, like, quite a few days. I don't remember exactly how many days. And I was like, wait. Thinking, like, on one hand, I felt so good and at ease and calm. On the other hand, I was like, shit, what am I missing out on? Like, did I miss someone's birthday? Did I miss an invite? Something? Like, did I miss some major political news story that I should know about? Am I going to be out in the streets and not knowing what's happening in the world? um, I'm kind of exaggerating that part. I wasn't as anxious about not being on Facebook, but I just had this, like, I had a life where I'd be on it, like, every minute, every minute, every minute, every minute. And so yesterday or the day before when I finally did log on after so many days, I had, like, all these notifications, and I was like, oh my god, I wonder, like, what these notifications are for. Just the usual, like, event invites, like, people, just the usual. So it, like, reinforced this, like, and then I was, on Facebook for a while when I logged in, and I was just scrolling through my feed for a little bit, a few minutes, literally. I remember feeling like, wait, I'm so bored reading these statuses. Like, I'm so bored. I don't know what this is doing for me. And the other thing I noticed was that some of these statuses that I was reading that were posted about people going into in-depth explanations about what's going on in their life, like, in-depth, like, details. Again, I'm not hating on anyone, but a lot of it seems so silly to me, and again, I don't know if this makes me judgmental, but a lot of it didn't seem that authentic. Like, a lot of the stuff that I was seeing on Facebook didn't seem, like, really authentic. And I'm not saying I'm above any of that, because I was there. I used to post statuses that were definitely just not me, or, like, sharing too much of my life, and waiting for people to like my status. Like, I've been there. I have been there, so I get it. It's addictive. Um, but I don't know. I am definitely happier with Facebook being a very small part of my life now. Um, so yeah, the one side is that I've just lost interest, and the other side is that when I do go on, I'm I'm put like I've made to feel like lesser or smaller than I feel I am, or whatever, or it makes me agitated, or kind of doesn't make me feel like I have true connection with people. So then it becomes like a deliberate thing, like, okay, I don't want to feel like this again. So I'm going to make an active effort to do it less and less, or only go on certain times, or like certain amount of time in the day or the week. Um, so yeah, again, I'm not against Facebook. Like I think what I do like about Facebook is um, it is still a way to keep contact with some people, like your vast network that you otherwise wouldn't have contact with. And then the other is that you have, like I said, I'm a writer. Facebook like artist pages that are really great. I think you're sharing really like deliberate pieces of content, your art, your work, whatever, and connecting with a community that's really interested in that specific thing. So I like that whole Facebook artist page and all that a lot. So again, not hating on Facebook, but hitting on the way that we've become addicted to Facebook. I I have an interesting story. So like I wouldn't say friend, like I would say more of an acquaintance now, someone who I used to consider a friend, um, who posts these epic, long, lengthy, insane, detailed statuses, often multiple times a day, about like nuanced details about her life, what she's doing, what she's eating, who she's with, like like why she chose to do this and not this, and who she met, the guy that she thought was cute, and this and that. And again, I'm all about being real, like sharing yourself, be vulnerable. Like I do it 110% through my poetry. I'm extremely vulnerable. I even have once in a while I do share myself and talk about my depression, what I'm doing now. But I don't know. I think okay, so let's put it this way. A lot of people that I knew this girl, this friend, would talk behind her back about her crazy use of social media. And you know, this girl would always dismiss it as, oh, these people are haters, and I get it. Some people are actually fully haters, and maybe I'm one of them. I don't know, but um, I don't know. I just don't know if it was doing as much good. And then the reason I say that, especially, is because she would oftentimes message me and say, "Hey, I posted this or this vulnerable sharing, whatever. Can you comment on my status so people can see it?" Like that was very bizarre to me, and it made me question the motive of sharing all that. I don't know. And the other, you know, so yeah. Oh, and then the same friend, she and I would be together in person one time we were hanging out. And I remember like so many times, like during us hanging out that day, she was just like, "What? Okay." It's like on her phone. And I remember feeling like she made these grand proclamations about how genuine of a person and a friend and caring of a person she was on Facebook, but in person it was like I couldn't really connect because there's like a social media like wall between us. Like, I remember she was like on Facebook as I was like right next to her and just like thinking about how to post the status and like posting a status about us being together when she wasn't really even with me in that moment. So, um, that's an example on top of the fact that she herself had insecurities about sharing things. And anyway, like I said, I'm not above her. I've been there in some ways, you know. But it really makes you wonder because a lot of times people find themselves feeling exhausted by their use of Facebook, not uplifted. Um, so it's something to be mindful of. The reason I'm speaking quietly is because my whole family is back today, and usually I can make videos very loud and whatever, but they're back, and I don't want to be sharing all this stuff that I'm doing so loudly because I am doing it privately. So, so yeah, that's a little bit of my spiel about Facebook. Um, I noticed that you know how I would compare my use of Facebook at one point is is nothing short of an addiction. When my phone would be dead some days, I'd be like fiending to have it charged again so I could check my Facebook. It'd be frantic. Like that's how a junkie operates, you know. And there have been studies that have been done that show that like when you get like a notification or something on Facebook, it's like a hit of dopamine um, in your brain. It's like a literally a chemical reaction in your brain. Um, so it's just it's crazy, and I really hope you'll forgive me for this sort of lazy, chill video. Just wanted to focus on Facebook today. Um, let's see, how else have I benefited from less Facebook? Oh, of course. Um, you know, I obviously a few months ago went through a breakup, and not only do I have no way of seeing my ex on social media now, not that I've only unfriended him and blocked him, but like I don't have any way of like someone that I know posting about him because he's a musician and he like goes to a lot of places and performs like where I used to go, and I'm sure there's a chance someone might post about him or an event page that I follow might post about him. Um, I haven't seen any of that, you know, and it's really good for my mental health. That whole like no contact thing. Um, it's definitely applies to all like at different levels. Like it's not just like no contact, no communication, no contact, like no exposure, visual reminders, and all that. So that's been really good about using Facebook less. And then also, um, take for example like Valentine's Day. This past Valentine's Day, I wasn't really on Facebook, and it was amazing. Like previous Valentine's Days, I'd be like, flooded with pictures of couples and amazing things they were doing for each other, and this kind of, like hurt. Like, oh, I don't have someone, or the guy did have someone, but they broke my heart. Um, so it's been really good. It's been really good in that way. And also, just like not comparing on any other level, not just relationships, but just like achievements. Like now, like even a small achievement, well, it's not small. Like getting my health back, getting the confidence back. Like I don't have to even measure those things against other people on Facebook. Like whatever they're doing, like someone could have gotten into Harvard, won an Oscar, married, Michael B. Jordan, and gotten a six pack, and gotten to do a little like, meet and greet with Beyonce, and that still wouldn't compare to how I feel like how much I've achieved, because that's about them, and I don't really know where they are internally, even despite those external achievements or whatever. My achievements are infinite. Like they're the best because I'm not comparing myself to all these other achievements. If you're on Facebook, people always post like, I'm so excited, I'm so happy, I got the blah 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 fellowship to Harvard, whatever, only 3 other people got this, or I am thrilled to announce that my wife is pregnant, or I just won $1 million, or I made $1 million while playing video games while you're depressed at your 9 to 5. These things make you feel like shit, and they trivialize your own achievements, which in your head should be considered grand. So, kind of want to wrap it up at that today, and not bore you on the topic of Facebook any further, because there are definitely more interesting topics, but this is just something that came to mind today that I feel like I had the capacity to talk about. So, yeah, if you want to talk about this topic or share your thoughts, email me or message me down below in the comments, and hopefully we can talk. Alright, bye.